Welcome. This is another topic here for the Spectrum Talk. My name is Carlos. I'm the father of Cairo, who was diagnosed with autism at the age of 2. This is something that I really want to point out is a topic that I really want to talk about, especially for us men. We have kids on the spectrum and we have difficult time just admitting that we have a child with some sort of disability. It's difficult to digest, we know, but we have to let go of having so much pride of asking for some help or guidance from someone else. My DMs be flooded, and I see it's a lot of women. A lot of autism mom reach out asking for help, guidance. Where can I start? I barely see any fathers reaching out, and that bothers me. For the fact that if you have a child with some sort of disability and you love your child, right? My thing is that you should try, or not even try, you should go for the best possible way to help them. Just try to help them or go for the help instead of trying. I really don't like using the word trying because trying is like I might do it, might not, or we're scared. We deal with a lot of things in life, and honestly, we're not prepared to digest something like, hey, your son or your daughter is on the spectrum. Like it's something difficult because all the negative things, all the negative thoughts come in play. Will they tippy toe forever? Picky eating, stimming, a whole bunch of things. I remember myself, I could use myself as an example. My son went from verbal to nonverbal, which is crazy. And I'm gonna point it out. Right after he received the MMR vaccine, I literally seen my son go from a positive to a negative. Believe it or not, I know there's many parents that have never vaccinated their kids and they still on the spectrum. But guess what? The environment, the food, if you someone that eats out of canned food, a lot of heavy metals in the water, in your environment, what you consume play a heavy role as well. And I really this is my personal theory. I truly believe that the vaccine play a heavy role plus the diet of the parents. So it contributes straight to the issue. Diet and vaccines. Why? Vaccines have what? Heavy metals. They add eggshells, chicken, like different things go inside these vaccines. That's the reason why people that get vaccinated and you hear like, I'm allergic to peanuts. How? If you never ate a peanut. And it's mostly because of the vaccines. So going back to, I want to reach out to our fathers, the brothers, like be more mindful of the situation. Like go for what's best. Don't settle. I've spoken to mothers that reach out and they say, well, my husband doesn't approve. Excuse me? What you mean your husband doesn't approve? Don't you want the best for your son or your daughter? You as parents, you have to be one. It's a team. Like for example, my wife and myself, we was doing our own separate research. She was looking into one, I was looking into another, and we took the great things out of all the information that we seek and we aligned it to one. I remember a couple of years ago, we did an allergy test, which I highly recommend that we all do an allergy test. We did an allergy test for Cairo, and it came out that he's allergic to shellfish, he's allergic to gluten, he's allergic to like barley, milk, eggs, tomatoes, peanuts, soy. So make sure whatever you consume is soy free, nuts free. So you need to do an allergy test on your child to exactly know what's going on and what's affecting them or what's stopping them from the growth. Because I'm pretty sure we all been there. I've been there that you think you're doing an amazing job with the diet. I used to follow the Dr. Sebi nutritional guide, not knowing that there was harmful things, even though it's clean Whole Foods, it wasn't contributing to what we was doing. So it was like it will be a block on his progress. And you don't want that. You want the progress to be as simple as possible, no inflammation. And when you're following a strict diet, you want to know what to give and what not to give. Because remember, your food is your medicine and your medicine is your food. That's the proper way of healing the human body. We all know that just to know that we are made out of minerals. So that's the way to feeding the body through minerals. Most people on the spectrum, or even when it comes to all kinds of diseases, we are deficient in some sort of mineral, either magnesium, iron, chromium, iodine for thyroids and hormone issues. Like, you have to find the cause. So I highly recommend for parents to do an allergy test. And to go back to our brothers, like, I feel like we need to be more involved with our kids' life. We can't just be leaving it up to the mom. We can't do that because they weren't made alone. You played a big role in having this child. So don't be so naive and walking away. I've seen fathers that just walk away out of their kid's life because not having a form of understanding of what's going on. So you have to be there. It's always best to be two than one. Why? Because there's a lot of stress being involved and we all need time. And your child really needs the support because even though if they're not speaking, they're listening. They are really listening. They're paying attention, believe it or not. So they want to see the mom and the dad playing that bond, that role, showing them love and affection, having fun interaction with your kids, building puzzles, like, be a team. It really bothers me that we spend time with our friends, going out for a bar, watching a game, but we don't have time for our kids, especially kids that are on the spectrum. Be there, support one another, look into diets. That's very important, very important. You need to find out their allergy, what is good for them, what is bad, eliminate, do better, do your own research. This is not a one-way street. It should be two-way. Mom and dad should be highly involved. I'm tired of hearing my husband this, my husband that. I spoke to my husband about a diet change. He's not with it. Or the doctor said this. Guess what? Doctors are not going to help you. If I would have really just relied on doctors, we don't get anything out of Cairo, but just the typical thing, the ABAs and the therapies and stuff like that, which are good. It's a positive thing because it helps. But what about their food? Remember, doctors are not trained to know about nutrition. They're only trained to know about medicine, right? So, you know the importance of fasting? I had Cairo fast for 5 days on smoothies and watermelon juices and melon juices and different types of things, on wild blueberry smoothies with different berries and adding other things like bananas and adding cilantro to pull heavy metal, introducing him to tamarind, which is great for pulling out heavy metals out of the liver. Like, you have to do your own homework. You have to do your own research. We cannot just depend on one individual to do it all. And on top of that, take care of the family, cook, clean, and do all of this stuff. Like, no, this needs to stop. I want to see more fathers involved in their child's life if they're on the spectrum. It should not be just a one-way street. So please share this, share it all over the world, because I want to see more fathers. I want to see autism dad as a hashtag instead of just autism mom. I want to see more autism father dad groups. I want to see more of that. I want to see all of it instead of just autism mom, because the hashtag autism mom is like in the millions, but autism dad is in the thousands, and we have a problem. We should not be ashamed of having a child on the spectrum. You should glorify them, because I used to be myself. Why me? Why not you? You could change your child's life by just putting in some work. Put in some work, please, some effort, some time. Hey, you want to hang out? Nah, I'm busy. What you working on? I'm working on my son. I'm going to give you a story on my own. I was having this discussion with my mom. We was having a back and forth when I decided to change my son's diet. She was feeling some type of way because of the form and way that we grew up, and she raised us. We was brought up in the South Bronx eating, our typical Dominican food and things like that. But guess what? We also had access to fast food. We had access to different restaurants. We had access to different things in New York City. And we was having this back and forth, and she was like, you turn out to be fine. I'm like, no, I have a lot of trauma. I had to heal myself from diabetes. I had to heal myself from anger. I had to heal myself from a lot of things that food played a heavy role in. And you're not understanding this. You, as my mother, should be able to understand that if something is going on with me, you should be the first one to help, right? The same thing as a dad, as a father. So I told my mom, if we in the ocean and I'm drowning and your mom is drowning, who you saving first? She's like, well, you, because you're my son. Guess what? I'm gonna save my son. So either you on board or not. And if you're not on board, the door is right there. And I see you when I see you. We could FaceTime, whatever. We could find other ways to communicate, because if the diet is the problem, you don't want to follow to my strict diet and my lifestyle, then I'm sorry. We gotta we have to go our separate ways, because I'm trying to save my son. And from that conversation that we had, she listened. And from there, whenever she's around and she has to cook for my kids, she knows that instead of cooking bunch of rice and a bunch of beans and meats and stuff like that, it's quinoa, mushrooms, vegetables, a lot of salads, a lot of fruits, and she's on board. Same thing as my mother-in-law. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? I remember she used to be heavy on the soda. Let's give him this. Like, nah, we're not gonna do that. And the same thing. You can't get on board. The door is right there. I'm not ashamed to say it. If you're not on board, we don't have to chill. You have to respect my stuff. You have to respect what I'm doing with my child, with my family. Another thing too, like, I know things happen in life where you separate from your partners and stuff like that. And the best thing to do is co-parent, because I know you have to play this part-time role. Let's be honest. But play it right. Whenever you have that opportunity with your child, make sure you're giving them the right stuff. Don't be out here just wanting to give them pizza and take them out to McDonald's and Popeyes when we all know that these foods have hundreds and hundreds of ingredients that really makes their situation worse. These ingredients are toxic to all of us. I know we're addicted to the flavors and taste, but it's a toxic. It's chemistry, honestly. And introduce your kids to more fruits, more vegetables, fruits that will help heal the gut. Like, for example, papaya, right? Pineapple, pears, apples, things that are high in fiber, enzymes. They will help break down mucus in the gut. Papaya is great for parasites, the seeds. Blend the papaya, add a few teaspoons or tablespoons of the seeds early in the morning. Pumpkin seeds for zinc and magnesium. We have to do better. Hydration, snacks like pumpkin seeds, raw pumpkin seeds. You can make milk out of this. You can make milk out of hemp seeds. You can make milk out of walnuts, raw almonds. Add cacao for stem cells, magnesium, potassium, calcium, iron. Like I said, hemp seeds for omega-3, which is great as an anti-inflammatory. You need to break down the mucus, which is inflammation in the body, in the brain, which is key. That's the reason why I use a lot of sea moss. Whenever I make homemade milk or homemade chocolate milk, I add sea moss. Another thing too, my son is allergic to shellfish. So what I do, I give him sea moss, right? I give him gold sea moss. You have to find out exactly what type of sea moss, and you have to find out what type of allergy the kid is walking around. Whenever I get my own purple Condis crispus, you normally find small pieces of shellfish attached to it because they're attached to the rocks. Gold sea moss, which comes from the Caribbean island, difference between cold water species and warm water. I use on my son gold sea moss because of the iodine. It helps with brain development. And remember, a lot of Asians, mostly in the southern part of Asia, like Japan, Korea, they use a lot of seaweed, which enhances the brain development because it's full of iodine, bromide, potassium. It's full of folate, vitamins and minerals that is very important in the development of speech. So I want to take the time to be on this platform to share this information. I want to see my DMs flooded with fathers. I want to see hashtag autism dad. I want to see it. I don't want to just see autism mom. I want to see fathers involved in their lives. I'm not a fan of using labels or tags on one another, people, on my kids, but if we have to add that label, let's add it. But to come together, I want to see more groups. I want to see more father groups. I want us to be more open, having conversations of what should we feed our kids. Like, please, this is a message that I really want to share with everyone. I want you to pay attention to our journey, our family journey, in particular with my son, Cairo. Sky's the limit. I'm not going to stop. This is going to continue because I want to see his full potential. I want to see it all. I have seen so much progress. I have seen so much out of Cairo, and I want to see more. The same way I want to see more from myself, my wife, my other two kids, from everyone. We should go for our best. We should never settle and feel comfortable, because I've learned whenever you're comfortable, you're in danger. So let's come together. Let's not settle for he's nonverbal. He has a speech delay. Let's do more. The same way when your vehicle breaks down, you want to take it to the shop to get it fixed, to get back on the road. Guess what? It's the same thing with us. Let's put in that work, read books, go on YouTube, go on Facebook, go on different groups, get different ideas, and just don't get stuck to one diet, one way, because remember, we all different. Like my son is allergic to shellfish. Maybe your son is not allergic to shellfish. It's simple. Maybe your son is not allergic to cow's milk, but my son is allergic to cow's milk. My son is allergic to soybean. You know, I follow a plant-based diet. I've seen many other groups with the different forms of diet. For example, like the GAPS diet, which is mainly about broths and meats and stuff like that. And there's a lot of successful stories about parents even having the autism label removed from their child. So I know for a fact that the common enemy here is inflammation, which comes from gluten, heavy starch, and sugar. There is a leaky gut that you have to address like ASAP. You should address the leaky gut, and you fix leaky guts. Plenty of broths, plenty of water, plenty of juicing, plenty of greens. Heavy metals, you have to address that. Parasites, you have to address. You have to address mineral deficiency, vitamin deficiency. You have to address different things. You could change their life. When it comes to picky eating, that has to do with a zinc deficiency. So you have to address that. Whatever they like, for example, if there's a fruit or vegetable that they like, give it to them in a high amount. More so than giving them French fries, you know? Instead of giving them chicken nuggets. Shoot, make it at home. Get gluten-free items to bake or try something. Stop buying it from the store because you're lazy. I'm tired of lazy parents not wanting to put in the effort because they want to be on a rush. They're quick to be on a rush to move on from their child, and having this, I'm just gonna accept the fact that my child is here. No, you could do so much. If your manager or your boss walks up to you like, hey, I know you're getting paid $22 an hour. Do you want to get paid 25? Are you gonna say, nah, I'm good at 22? No, you're gonna take the 25, you're gonna take the 30. Well, guess what? Do the same thing with yourself and your child. It's all about elevating. It's all about each one teach one. For picky eating, introduce, for example, fruits. This is a pear, organic pear. Slice it up, play with it, have them interact, allow them to help you cut up the fruit or the vegetable, set up games like a testing game, like let's do this, find something they like. If it's to play some sort of game or a toy, like if you don't get this, you don't get this. If you don't eat this, you don't get that. Things like that. We've done it all. And if they continue to, smoothies, do plenty of smoothies, green juices, try different fruits, try different methods, but don't stay in the comfort zone because you're never gonna be able to help them elevate. So please, introduce them, put it on their plate. They're gonna push it away, but that's fine. It's the same thing happened to us when we was young, and they used to introduce us to mainly vegetables, and we used to push them away. Keep placing it on the plate. Enjoy, have them, honestly, I grew up with this thing, right? And my mother, she was 100 with this. If you don't eat what's on your plate, you're not hungry. That was her style. So guess what? I remember Cairo had a bottle. If he wouldn't consume any forms of liquid if it wasn't in that bottle, guess what? He was really thirsty. He picked up the cup. He never looked at the bottle again because we threw it away. So guess what? You're thirsty, you're gonna get a cup.
You're gonna get thirsty enough?
You're gonna get thirsty enough to drink. You're gonna be hungry enough to eat. So as long as you keep your child hydrated, if they get a little fever, manage the fever, coconut water, chamomile teas, and things like that. Manage the fever because it's gonna happen whenever they're detoxing. Whenever you're breaking down inflammation in the body, you get fevers. You might get a little hive. You might get something is gonna happen, but it's okay. When we go out there in the real world and we trying to learn how to drive, everyone just can't get into a vehicle and drive, turn left, turn right. No, it takes time, it takes practice. So practice makes improvement. The more you do it, the more the improvement. Practice, continue, don't stop. Well, guess what? This is what you're gonna eat. The same thing happened with my son, my oldest son, Riley. He wanted to consume rice and the typical things that we used to consume before changing all of our diet. He didn't want to eat quinoa. What did I do? Well, guess what? We don't die of hunger. We die of thirst. We need to keep the body hydrated. You got to keep the body with minerals. Here, some water, key lime, and sea salt. Have a nice day. You don't want the quinoa? You don't want the mushroom? Then you're not hungry. Because we have people around the world, I don't like using this, but guess what? We have people around the world starving. They will give up so much just to have a bowl of quinoa with mushrooms and salads and vegetables and things like that. Guess what? He fasted for 24 hours. The following day, he said, Dad, I'm really hungry. I want to eat. Though that's your food. Guess what? Now he's the biggest advocate. Well, Mom, are you going to make quinoa? Are you going to make this? Can you make that? But in the past, he didn't want it. It's not about torturing. Your body wants to fast. Your body wants to heal itself. Whenever I have people that reach out to me like, I'm dealing with this, I'm dealing with that, I'm dealing with this, the first thing I tell them is either you do intermittent fasting or you just fast. One or the other. Fasting is okay as long as you keep in the body hydrated. Get wild blueberries, make it into a smoothie, give it to them. Just feed them that. Add some gold sea moss. Feed them. The sea moss and the wild blueberries is good enough. It's going to be breaking down inflammation and it's going to be adding minerals to their body. Next thing you know, what's that? No longer a picky eater. Sea moss is full of zinc. It's full of magnesium. It's full of potassium. It's full of iodine. It's full of vitamin B12, B6. So guess what? Do that. He doesn't want to eat. She doesn't want to eat. Fine with me. Get them to consume liquid, coconut water, which is full of what? Electrolytes, berry smoothies, sea moss. Go for it. Thank you for listening. I really want to share this. I really want to see more of us being a unit, a team, advocating for diet change, and minerals, supplements, and all the good stuff. Herbs is for the healing of the nation. Herbs is your medicine. Use herbs. If I could give out quick, simple herbs that you should have at home. On my page, you will find hundreds of recipes, what to give, what not to give. You will find herbs on my website, things that you could just pick out, simple things. I'll give out 5 herbs, right? You have elderberries for antioxidants and boosting the immune system. You have nettle for detoxification. You have burdock root, dandelion root for iron and circulation and improvement, bowel movements. And I'll give you another one, chamomile for what? For stress, anxiety, for relaxation. I get this question all the time. My son is 1 or my daughter's 1 or 2 or 3. Yes, I've been giving my kids at least tablespoons. What I used to do right before giving them tea, I used to make tonics, elderberry tonic, which is elderberry syrup, which is simple. Grab some elderberry, you boil it up. Once it becomes thick, you add up a few other herbs and just give them tablespoons. That's how you introduce it. Kids could have herbs. It's not poison. Well, some, if you overdo it, could become a poison to your liver, which different subject. But to introduce your child into this, like I said, you can make it into a sweet tea. You can make it into a juice. You could go ahead and boil some elderberry. Once it cools down, you can add it to a blueberry or wild blueberry or berry mix. That's different forms of way to introduce them to things. I'll take the alkaline tea. Once it cools down, I add it to the smoothies. That's another way to get it. Add it to popsicles. I've done it with popsicles. How to incorporate and make my own popsicles. I take fruits, coconut milk, hemp seed, make it into a blend, add my sea moss, or open up my capsules like our iron booster capsule. We add it there. Chlorophyll capsules, we add it to there. We add it to the popsicles or the smoothies. I will continue putting up videos for ideas of what to do, what not to do, how to introduce. And guess what? From the bottom of my heart, I make sure that a lot of these recipes are free. I'm not gonna do people wrong, man. I'm not gonna do what most people out there like. I remember being desperate, checking out different courses and stuff like that, charging people for recipes, $500, $300, $200. God, like, come on, man. It's already stressful keeping up with paying up your mortgage or your rent and your car payments and work and things like that. For you to help me, you gotta charge me $500, $1,000 for some food recipe. Like, are you really here for the money or are you really here to help? Because if I'm really like, if I'm in the helping department, I should not be charging people $500. Like I said, I would charge you something, little minimum things for the labor, for putting up the information, paying employees and things like that. But to charge you $1,000 for recipes? Like, are you serious? Like, what are we doing? Are we really trying to help or are we here for the line of business? Because I've seen a lot of parents out here like, yeah, I've reversed my son or my daughter's autism diagnosis. Guess what? Click the link in my bio. Guess what? $500. So is it a business? I am a businessman. Like I said, I have to charge you for my herbs because it's being imported, sorting out. I have to pay for employees in Dominican Republic. I have people that have to pay in Jamaica, Mexico, and different places. I have to pay employees here in my office. I have employees. So that's the reason why I do charge. The moment I become like seriously like financially free, I'm gonna be giving out free products. My goal is to eventually open up a center for parents, any forms of donation for parents just to come in. Everything's free. That is my main goal. Before I leave this earth, I try to bring this into existence. I speak about it. I do it as an affirmation. Please, God, keep me alive. Please, God, keep bringing in things in abundance so I could do this goal that I want to accomplish before I leave this planet. I want to help others. I want to help other parents, and I want to do it for free if I have to. But I have to be there. I have to put myself in that stage, in that platform to be able to help others for free. We already purchased land in Dominican Republic. I'm trying to seek more land to build a center so people could just bring in their loved ones for healing. And once again, I want to share this and I want this to go viral and reach fathers and parents of kids on the spectrum or autism parents, but mainly fathers. I did this for the brothers. And I want to see more brothers involved in their kids' life, with spectrum or not.